Hello and welcome to this fairly quick review of a brand new microphone from Aputure. This is it. It's called the A-Lav because it is a lavalier or tieclip microphone, and in fact I'm wearing it now, so all the sound you're going to hear throughout this review is coming from the tieclip mic, which is just here, apart from some samples where I compared it with other microphones, 3 other microphones, and I will of course label those on screen quite clearly. But apart from that, the sound you're going to hear throughout this review is coming directly from the new microphone. Now, there are 2 things worthy of note, I think, about this microphone. First of all, it is very, very low cost. This is a cheap mic. You can spend, if you want, hundreds of pounds on a tieclip mic. This is very much not at that end of the scale. And the second thing about it is that it seems fairly apparent from the design, which I'll come to in a moment, that it is aimed at people wanting to record into portable audio devices. So, for example, if you are wanting to record into your mobile phone, your iPhone or whatever, or a Zoom H1, something like that, the way that the little powering module that comes with the mic is designed, it has a little belt clip. So it's obviously designed to clip onto your belt and then into a recording device rather than into a camcorder. Now, you can record into a camcorder. That is what I am doing right now. And in fact, I'm filming on a Sony AXP33. It's got a normal 3.5mm jack and the mic plugs into it. But the little powering module, as I say, with a belt clip, is clearly not designed to attach to a camcorder. It doesn't have a cold shoe. So you can do it, but they have obviously thought about this as being one where you're probably going to be doing dual recording. That is, putting a recording device on the person who's speaking and then filming on some other camera device and then syncing the sound later. Anyway, enough of me waffling just to start. Here is the box it comes in. Let me open the box and show you what you actually get for your money. Okay, so here's the box it comes in. Nice compact little box that rather bizarrely makes a highlight of the power adapter rather than the microphone itself in the little picture on the front. You get a little set of instructions, and they are quite little. It's just 2 sides of a single sheet of folded paper in absolutely microscopic type, but if you can read it, it tells you how to plug the mic in and a few specifications, all that kind of good stuff. Now, the real bits come in this rather handy little box. It's reasonably tough. I wouldn't want to stand on it, but it should keep the microphone and associated cables safe from any handling if you throw it into another equipment box, say, and take it along to gigs with you. Zipped, obviously, round the sides here to get to the microphone and cables inside. And there they are, all beautifully packaged, awaiting you pulling them out and assembling them. I'll come to that in a second. Now, this bit is a powering module. It's got a rechargeable battery inside it, and you have to charge it up first before you can use the mic. It provides the power to the microphone. You do get a fluffy windjammer, which is excellent. A bit difficult to find the hole to put the mic into, but peel the fur aside and there it is. That's a nice little addition. And then also under here, a little thing of sticky tape. So sticky, in fact, it's stuck to the bottom of the packaging, but that's for sort of fastening the mic to things if the clip isn't suitable. Then on the other side of the box, you have the microphone itself, and that comes with an extensive cable, the mic with a normal foam windshield on the top of it, you can see there, and a standard clip which you would use to attach to someone's tie or their sweater or something like that. Lots of cable and a standard 3.5mm jack on the end, but that does not go into your recording device. That goes into the power supply we've just seen, and the output of that goes into your recording device. There's a long cable supplied, but generally try and keep it as short as you can to avoid electrical noise pickup. A couple of other cables in the box then, 3 in fact. The first one, a little USB to 3.5mm, and that is used for charging that battery. It is assumed that you have some sort of USB to, what is that, micro USB, mini USB charging device, and most people should have something like that. Now, the cables that go to your recording device, you have a normal tip ring shield 3.5mm. You'd use that to a camcorder or a Zoom H1. They are helpfully labelled so you don't get confused as to what each one is for. And the final one is a tip ring shield, TRRS, which is the kind of jack you put into many kinds of mobile phones. So if you're using an iPhone for recording, this is probably the one you'd use. Now let's have a look at that power module. You've got an input there which you plug the mic into, output there which goes to your recording device, and also a headphone out. So if your recorder doesn't provide headphone monitoring, this does, which is very useful indeed. So that's where you'd plug the little cable that goes off to the USB, and from there to a charger that you would probably have kicking around somewhere. 1 amp, 5 volt, usual kind of thing. The microphone plugs in there, and as you push it fully in, it switches the device on. Taking it out turns it off again. And then you simply pick which of the 2 short cables you need to go into your recording device. So if you've got a camcorder or a zoom, it's the tip ring shield one, and if it's a phone, it's the TRRS. Now you notice they're very short, so it's expected that the power supply module will be next to the recording device, not at the microphone end. And underneath, a belt clip on the back, you see, no cold shoe. It's not really designed for mounting on a camcorder. You would have that on your belt, and then perhaps in your pocket you'd have the recording device. Now, putting everything back into the box is actually quite tricky, because although everything's got a little space, a little spot for it, you have to get them all back in the right order in the right spot. And at the end of a busy recording session, quite frankly, I tend to just chuck my kit back into the bag. So although it's nice to have a bag and a box where everything's sort of got its own little space, it does make it a little bit fiddly when you're trying to pack it all away again. And I think really you just want the box to be an open space that you can chuck everything into. Okay, so much for what you actually get. Now, I mentioned at the start that I had tested the microphone by comparing it with 3 other microphones. Another cheap one, in fact this one, the Technica ATR, I forget the model number, ATR3350 I think it's called, yes that's right, and that one retails for about £20 or £25, so very much in the same ballpark as the new mic from Aputure. But I also, out of interest, recorded some samples into a Rode lavalier, which I think it's somewhere between £100 and £200. I forget exactly how much that one costs. But also a Sony ECM77, which is an absolute veteran of the broadcast industry. It's a standard, and it is relatively expensive in this company. So all scales catered for. So let me play you now the clips recorded on each of those microphones. This is a microphone test comparing 3 tieclip microphones. There is a Sony ECM77, a Rode lavalier, and a new microphone from Aputure. These microphones vary in price and sound. I'm speaking into the microphones from only a few centimetres distance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm recording all 3 of the microphones simultaneously into a Canon XF200, which in MXF mode has the capability of 4-channel audio. The Sony ECM77 is plugged in through an XLR port, as is the Rode lavalier. The microphone from Aputure is going to the normal 3.5mm stereo jack. And now some poetry. Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. But the question is, how do these 3 microphones sound compared against each other? This is a further microphone test, this time using an Technica ATR3350, plugged via a 3.5mm stereo jack into the Canon XF200. I can't record this one simultaneously as with the Aputure mic because the XF has only one 3.5mm jack socket. Thus I am recording this separately, but in the same location and under the same conditions as the prior recording. Well, obviously you can make up your own mind as to what you think of the quality of the Aputure A-Lav and relative to the other microphones as well. Do bear in mind that it is very inexpensive. It's not reasonable, really, to compare it against either the Rode Lavalier or the Sony ECM77. I put those in just out of interest. Whether it's worth it to you or not, obviously only you can make that decision. Now, there is a couple of things I should mention. This was a pre-production model that was sent to me for review, but while I was taking off the foam windshield to put on the furry windjammer, at one point the actual microphone capsule came apart and I could see the wires inside it. It is, I'm very much sure, not supposed to do that. But again, it is a pre-production sample I was sent, but just worth checking on yours that it is all firmly stuck together. And the other thing I would say is that the cable that comes with it, I think it's about 6 meters long. It is unbalanced, and if you have a long unbalanced cable, then you run the risk of picking up electrical interference from, you know, whatever electrical devices are around you as you film. So do wear headphones if you are going to use this microphone while you are recording. For me, I think it sounds a little bit too bassy. I preferred the sort of crisper sound of the other microphones, and also perhaps the A-Lav is a little bit hissy as well. But again, you have to look at that price point and think, is it value for money? Well, yes, I would say it certainly is. Anyway, I hope this review was useful to you. If it was, give it a click on the old like button. If you have any questions, do put them in the comments below, and I will do my best to answer them. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.